Good morning, chess players. Welcome to another round of chess puzzles, all based on real games from the current edition of Daily Chess Championship. Each puzzle is followed by a short break. This is your moment to pause the video and take some extra time to think through the best move. Remember, it's better to solve one puzzle properly than to solve 10 in a hurry. So let's focus on the chessboard. It's a very funny position when I wanted to checkmate my opponent, but my own knight was in the way. Instead of helping, it was blocking the winning move. So let's imagine then that I play knight f3, anything from black, and now I have winning bishop h6, attacking rook after rook escape with the checkmate. So let's go back. In here, this position, I found the brilliant sacrifice knight h7. My opponent accepts this sacrifice after rook e3. He will draw king to g8. I played rook h3 and my opponent resigned because there is a checkmate on h8. So let's go back to this position. And here it looks that it's over. White is attacking also this rook. So please find the way for black to save this position. Okay, the answer is not easy because after white knight sacrifice, black has to sacrifice its knight, and knight d5 is the answer. Now knight is attacking queen, queen is attacking queen, so white have to capture this knight. And now of course it's a mistake because white even can capture this rook. But here after knight sacrifice, black has king h7, and this idea doesn't work because queen exchange. So white has to exchange queens and probably go back with bishop to e4. White is still one pawn more, but okay, there is a long way to realize it. So there is big chances for black for a draw. In this position, my last move was bishop c2, and this move in this endgame is very important because now bishop is controlling h7 square. And why this square is so important, I will show you following the next move of my opponent. So e4, blocking bishop, and now if I take this pawn, h7, of course king f8 is losing, so king 8, check, and another check after, for example, king escape to h6. White can capture another pawn, and these two pawns are very dangerous. That's why after e4 I played another move, but let's go back. In this position, white had also another very interesting move. So it was knight sacrifice on f7, then check on g7. And what's going on after, for example, b5, white have h7, and the only way to prevent promotion is bishop sacrifice, and probably the endgame is drawish. That's why here instead of b5 I have to go back with king to g8, rook b7, and in this position for a long time I couldn't find the best way for black to win, because white has this idea to travel his king to f6, but then I found the winning move king h8. After this idea king h3, we have pawn sacrifice, and if white okay white can go here to h4, we have rook g8, and finally white has to capture this pawn, because another way this pawn is good for the promotion. There is king h7, and here we have check, another check. That's to force this king to go back to the third rank, and now we can capture this pawn easily. Bishop g6, and black is winning. Okay, so let's go back to the game. It was bishop c2. My opponent played e4, and now I show you that this move was mistake. So here is the puzzle. Please find the winning move for black. The answer is not very easy, because it's pawn capture. In the beginning it looks as a mistake, because knight, rook and king are on the same file, but it occurs that white has no good square for this knight, no winning square, and the move is not capturing rook, not attacking bishop, and after probably most dangerous knight e6, there is simple king h8, and there is no good square for knight. Probably the best idea is to capture here, but after even bishop b3, g7, rook e8, black is winning. That's why my opponent, after takes h6, withdraw his knight to f3 with check. I moved my king to h7, and here I have very strong move, bishop e4, attacking knight and pawn. My opponent played knight h4. I take this pawn. Now please look for this knight. There is no good square for it. I have 3 pawns more, and soon my opponent resigned. And now the game I lost, the same opponent as in the previous puzzle, but this time I was playing white. It should be easier, but it turned out to be quite opposite. I walked straight into a full attack on my king. So please find the winning move for black. The answer is rook sacrifice on g2, and of course this bishop is overload, so it's not possible to capture this rook with bishop, because white is losing queen. So I had to capture this rook and accept sacrifice with king. Now there is queen f3 check, and knight g4. Black is without rook, but here we have checkmate threat. So once again, I had to capture this knight, and now everything is forced. Check, of course. Here is a checkmate, so I had to escape to e1. Another check. Now first bishop starts to play. Another check. After king d1, this fork is winning. That's white. That's why I play bishop d3. I was thinking also about king b2, but now second bishop starts to play, and okay, it's over. But after bishop d3, my opponent found queen 2. Okay, it's illegal move to capture this queen because bishop is pinned. That's why I escaped here. And okay, it's over. In some move, I was checkmate. So I played this check, hoping so for something. And in free move, I resigned. In the previous move, I played the pawn advance d4, d5. The idea of exchanging the isolated d pawn is great. However, the execution is not great anymore. Such pawn exchange need to be well prepared, especially white should to ensure protection of some of the central squares. Okay, but it's enough. Now black to move. Please find the winning move for black. Okay, one move before. These two square were protected by this pawn, but now it has changed. So knight c5 is an answer, and here the best way to escape with queen is here to e3. Now we are attacking this rook. Of course, this move is losing. So here my opponent sacrificed rook to this pawn, and okay, I have exchanged for a pawn, but it occurred to be enough, and in 20 moves I won. But let's go back. What not to escape this rook to d1? Because we are in the beginning attacking this rook. You can see once again this c5 square is a great square for uh, now for bishop to attack this pawn. After queen e2, knight f2, bishop is attacking queen, knight is attacking rook. So the only move is to take this bishop. But now we have check, and after king f1, we can even exchange this knight, and black is exchange more with easy win. In this position, the pawn structure around the white king is full of weakness. So once this king has castled, there is no reason to wait. It's time to attack. So please find the best and winning move for black. The answer is knight h4, attacking this pawn. And for example, let's start for this not great move. Knight d4, just to double protect this pawn. It's of course a mistake because after queen sacrifice, black has royal fork and we are winning. That's why my opponent protected this pawn in other way. But after queen d3, we are attacking this pawn once again. And now there is no choice. White had to protect this pawn with knight. But now this knight is pinned, so my opponent double protected. But now I sacrifice this rook, and it's over. And black is winning. In this position, I was playing white. We had just finished the opening phase, and I was already down a knight. Black king, of course, had some issues, but it wasn't clear for me how to punish it. And if my opponent had found the right plan, the right idea, I wouldn't have had the slightest chance, not even for a draw. So it's not easy, but please try to find the best idea, the best plan for black. Knight e5 is an answer. Of course, I cannot exchange this bishop, these knights, because now black king can go to a7. Black rook is activated and black has no problem. It's over. That's why I had to withdraw this knight. And now it looks quite okay because both e7 and d6 squares are occupied, so black cannot move uh, this bishop. Also, black cannot activate rook, but there is a great idea for black h6. Please remember that now this bishop is protected by this pawn. Is important because after bishop h4, g5, pawn exchange, we have similar position as three moves before, but now this rook is activated and this pawn, this bishop is unprotected, and that's why black can exchange knights. And now this bishop and queen is under attack, so white had to escape queens. Now bishop h6 attacking queen and rook. Okay, there is a way to protect it because in this move white is attacking black rook, but king h7, both rooks are coordinated now. White had to escape this rook to d1. Simple check and rook g8, and black is winning. This position looks equal and symmetrical, but it turns out that black is winning. So let's focus on the chessboard and please find the best and winning move for black. Knight e4 is an answer. So knight exchange, and I think sometimes it's worth to exchange some pieces, especially when you come out slightly ahead after all these changes. And of course, white cannot capture this because here we are bishop more. That's why there are two lines. Okay, let's start from the second line. Queen exchange. bishop d8, and again it's not possible to capture it because this bishop is hanging. That's why I have to continue capturing on d8. Now we've checked exchange. Of course, it's not good idea because here the position is equal. So knight d2, attacking rook and pawn. After rook d1, rook d8 is protecting this knight. That's why white has to attack this rook. And again, rook e1, rook d1. After such exchange, okay, black is a bit better, but it's probably drawish position. That's why black has to capture this pawn. And after knight e5, black is pawn more, and this pawn structure is really poor. So after b6, bishop b7, black should be better. Of course, in this position it's not possible to capture bishop because now white is winning. Okay, so let's go back to the game. After knight e4, my opponent decided to capture this bishop on e7, but here I capture this bishop, and now queen e7. And there is no hurry. I don't have to capture this pawn immediate, but I have this decision move bishop h3 attacking rook, and after rook 1, king e4 with checkmate treat. There is no protection in some moves my opponent resigned. That's all my puzzles from the second round. I hope you managed to solve some of these exercises. If you are not familiar with daily chess, you should log into chess.com and start your first game even today. Here it's me sharing the first place, so I'm waiting for round 3. Goodbye.